This is my Consumer Insight Behaviour Theory presentation. My name is Samantha Evans and my student ID is C3531799. In today's market, there has been an increase in the amount of consumers investing in their fitness and health. From activewear to vitamins, these activewear brands will utilise consumer behaviour theory more than ever before, as the consumer audience is forever expanding. Throughout this presentation, I'll be looking into how activewear brands utilise three areas of consumer behaviour theory within their recent marketing activities. My chosen company for this presentation is Nike. Activewear has become one of the world's largest and most successful industries, and Nike is one of the most popular activewear brands on the market today, with a reputation of producing high-quality activewear and sought-after sneaker releases. Nike uses aspects of consumer behaviour theory to create motivational incentives to keep its customer audience interested and to draw the attention of new customers. Through this presentation, I'll be looking into three areas of consumer behaviour theory and how Nike uses these three areas within their own marketing developments, as well as how their competition uses them. So, how does Nike utilise the three areas of consumer behaviour theory? Firstly, I'll be looking into attitude and persuasion. Attitude and persuasion is the first area of behaviour theory I'll be exploring. According to Solomon, attitudes serve more than just one purpose, but in many cases one will be dominant. If marketers can identify the dominant functions a product serves for a customer, i.e. its benefits, marketers can then emphasise these benefits in their marketing communications. An attitude can also be described as a bias of which an individual will respond in a certain manner in response to certain topic areas, which then leads us on to the experimental hierarchy. Marketers have become more aware of the importance of emotional responses as an aspect of individual attitudes. For example, someone's attitude can be strongly influenced by product attributes such as packaging. This could be the case for a consumer who wants to be aware of their environmental footprint, therefore purchasing from a brand who uses excessive plastic in their packaging is a conflicting attribute. Another example could also be a consumer could be a big fan of a brand, Nike for example, but their own personal attitudes around globalisation and poor labour practices is a conflicting attribute, preventing an individual from purchasing from Nike. Now moving on to the attitude component, the ABC model. A consumer makes judgments about a brand through either individual research, social influences, etc. Through these judgments, a consumer makes their own attitudes. For example, the effect of the attitude is that James likes Nike. The behavioural effect is that James believes Nike products are of good quality and are the best on the market for activewear. And finally, the cognition is that James owns several pairs of Nike trainers as well as a lot of their activewear. An example of how Nike utilises aspects of attitude and persuasion within consumer insight behaviour theory is their new feature to help their customers help shop sustainably. This feature is meant to make it easy for the consumer to search and shop and learn about the sustainable options offered by Nike. Consumers have become more aware of their ecological footprint through the consumption of fast fashion and now many customers want to adopt a more sustainable way of purchasing. Marketers have become aware of this change in consumer attitudes, and Nike's Move to Zero campaign and this additional feature to their website is a response to these attitude developments, making it easy for their customers to shop sustainably. Now moving on to an example from one of their competitors, Adidas. Back in 2015, Adidas partnered with Parley for the Oceans to turn plastic pollutions found in the oceans into sportswear. And in 2017, Adidas released a shoe completely made out of recycled plastics. The two links within this slide of the presentation explain in more detail about Adidas's venture into sustainable production measures. A subject such as pollution can trigger an emotional response within consumers, in many cases leading to attitude changes in relation to consumer habits. Therefore, by creating sustainable solutions, consumers will be more likely to purchase. Now moving on to the second theory, which is motivation. According to Solomon, motivation refers to the process that causes people to behave as they do. From psychological perspective, motivation occurs when a need is aroused that the consumer wishes to satisfy. Furthermore, Solomon emphasised the fact that we cannot really understand motivation unless we fully understand what these needs are and their existence. However, we can split the needs of motivation into different categories. First, utilitarian, which is a functional or practical benefit. Hedonic, which is an experimental need involving emotional responses or fantasies. Biogenic needs, which are necessary to maintain life. And psychogenic needs, a need for power or status and fulfillment. So, moving on to expectancy theory or pull theory. Expectancy theory suggests an individual's behaviour is rather pulled by the motivation to achieve a desired outcome, rather than being pushed by biogenic incentives. For example, if an individual is looking to purchase a new pair of trainers, said individual will look into different brands and features, such as style, comfort, colour, etc. The individual will then choose a pair of trainers based on the outcome of their research. Solomon suggested we choose one product over another because we expect this choice to have a more positive outcome. Now moving on to the three components of expectancy theory. The three components of expectancy theory are expectancy, so will the benefits of the product be as good as the consumer expected? Instrumentality, does the consumer know how good the benefits of the product are, and is this what they paid for? For example, has the individual tried the trainers on before buying them? And finally, valiance, will it make the consumer's life any easier? So, for example, will the trainers be comfortable while running? Herzberg's two-factor theory of motivation. So within this theory, the motivators are factors that will directly motivate an individual to purchase a product or service. And hygiene, or demotivators, are factors that do not directly influence purchasing decisions, but would also demotivate the customer if they are not present. Moving on to an example, which will be an advertisement by Nike promoting their activewear. And within this campaign, Nike have associated their products with productivity and well-being. In this case, presenting the campaign and getting up early to train and exercise, which is associated with motivational needs. For example, psychogenic needs, as productivity and fitness can result in fulfillment and the feeling of achievement. However, using their products to portray this message is correlated with utilitarian needs. Nike's products are depicted to have functional and practical benefits, which will be a motivational factor for anyone searching for fitness wear. Now moving on to an example from one of their competitors, which is New Balance. In 2019, New Balance released a music video to celebrate the launch of their In Pursuit campaign. This campaign was created as a celebration of female leadership and empowerment. The New Balance Director of Global Marketing said that we hope to tap into and inner drive and momentum of women in their own personal pursuit. Both Nike and New Balance focus on motivational needs as a part of their campaign. However, instead of focusing on utilitarian needs like Nike, New Balance focus on psychogenic needs, power and fulfillment. This campaign also plays a role in the pull theory, as the campaign acts as a motivational incentive, as consumers will then think that buying from the brand will be supporting a good cause. And finally, moving on to lifestyle and value. To understand the lifestyle and values of customers, groups must be broken into demographic segmentations, geographic segmentations, and behavioural segmentations. So demographic segmentations are made up of age, social class, gender. Geographic segmentations are made up of region and country. And behavioural segmentation is made up of, for example, loyalty to a brand, a benefit a customer is looking for in purchasing a product, and usage. The consumption choice of an individual reflects their lifestyles and how the individual finds best effective to spend their time and money. Lifestyles and consumption choices also change depending on attitudes and values. For example, if a consumer is vegan or vegetarian or likes to shop sustainably, which takes us on to sustainability. There has been a drastic increase in consumers looking for sustainable options, from organic food to cruelty-free makeup brands to sustainable fashion brands. These individuals are known as LOHAS consumers, lifestyle and health and sustainability. Moving on to our example from Nike, which is the Nike and Carissimo sustainability campaign. A recent campaign by Nike relating to lifestyle and consumption is Nike's campaign with Carissimo from 2018. This advertisement is a prime example of how Nike reaches out to members from different demographics with diverse lifestyles and values. Through the use of figures who make sustainable lifestyle choices, in this case Carissimo, this will catch the attention of these sustainable consumers, subsequently influencing the purchasing decisions of that customer demographic while searching for activewear. And our final example is from Puma. Puma's FW18 campaign was created as an inspiration for women everywhere to be themselves. Puma used 6 female athletes to star in this campaign, with the idea to embody female strength and empowerment. Through a campaign aimed at females with a message of female empowerment, they used strong female figures to represent this. Puma ensured their campaign reached out to their female demographic, bringing together a female demographic from different backgrounds, different ages, races, religions, etc., influencing the purchasing decisions of females who want to support a brand who shows their support for femininity and female empowerment. So, in conclusion, Nike uses consumer behaviour theory to ensure the success of its marketing activities. For example, sustainable changes to the brand's production process, which is then detailed through campaigns, is a motivational factor to pull customers into purchasing, as we expect this choice to have a more positive outcome. Whereas Puma, for example, focuses its campaign onto the attention of a single yet large demographic. In this case, in the example shown, Puma focused their attention on a large female demographic. Even though Nike and its competitors focus on different parts of consumer behaviour theory, all these brands are still successful at maintaining their customer base and finding new, innovative ways to expand their customer audience. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.